Have you ever pondered the subtle ways that our everyday actions might be holding us back from our highest potential? What if the very habits we consider trivial are quietly undermining our spiritual growth? C.S. Lewis, in his profound exploration of faith, reminds us that just as we are called to cultivate virtues, we must also be wary of the insidious nature of harmful behaviors. In his writings, Lewis often spoke about the necessity of vigilance in our spiritual journey. He suggested that the path to true transformation involves not only embracing the virtues of love, humility, and patience, but also actively resisting the tendencies that lead us astray. Lewis would argue that the journey of faith is not a mere passive experience, but an active struggle against the forces that challenge our goodness. Just as light reveals what was once hidden in darkness, so too must we confront and understand the negative patterns that linger in our lives. This self-awareness is the cornerstone of liberation. As we move forward, it is essential to recognize and shed these destructive practices, for they are the adversaries that impede our progress towards a fuller, more radiant life. I invite you to stay with me as we delve deeper into this message, exploring practical ways to identify and overcome these detrimental habits. Together, we will seek the path to a more enlightened and virtuous existence. In our journey as followers of Christ, we are called to embody the divine attributes of holiness, compassion, truthfulness, and love. These are not merely virtues to be admired from afar, but qualities that must resonate deeply within our lives. The Scriptures offer a vivid portrait of God's nature, and by immersing ourselves in His Word, we draw nearer to His essence. It is through this engagement with the Bible that we not only understand but also begin to mirror God's character. C.S. Lewis, a renowned Christian thinker, eloquently captures this essence in his writings, emphasizing that our spiritual journey is not just about adherence to rules, but about becoming a reflection of God's love and goodness in a world often overshadowed by darkness. Lewis illustrates this beautifully in his book, Mere Christianity, where he discusses the transformative power of divine grace. He writes, the whole thing is to be inside Christ, to be part of Him, and to let His Spirit influence our lives. This insight underscores the importance of internal transformation over mere external conformity. Our goal is not to simply avoid evil, but to actively embody the goodness of God, allowing His Spirit to renew us from within. While it's common to think of ourselves as devout, committed individuals striving to live in Christ, we must also be vigilant about the subtle ways in which negative influences can infiltrate our lives. Even if we practice prayer and strive to live righteously, persistent negative behaviors can inch us closer to darkness rather than light. The Bible warns us about these dangers, illustrating the presence of malevolent forces and their influence on our hearts and minds. Paul's teachings in the New Testament are clear on this matter. He urges us to shed our old selves, which are tainted by sin, and to reject the enticements of unchecked desires, deceit, and injustice. This call to renounce the old self is not merely about avoiding sin, but about embracing a new way of living that reflects the transformative power of Christ's love. In the Screwtape Letters, Lewis provides a compelling narrative on the subtlety of evil. Through the correspondence of two demons, he reveals how seemingly minor vices can gradually lead us away from divine truth. This allegory serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the need for constant vigilance in our spiritual walk. Our commitment to reflect God's attributes requires more than just good intentions. It demands a deliberate and continuous effort to align our actions, thoughts, and desires with His will. As Lewis poignantly states, you can make anything by writing, emphasizing the power of our choices and the stories we write with our lives. Each decision we make, each action we take, should be a testament to the divine qualities we are called to embody. The world around us is indeed afflicted by the shadow of evil, and our role is to be a beacon of light and truth. By renouncing the old self and embracing the divine nature within us, we contribute to a greater purpose, a purpose that transcends personal righteousness and touches the lives of those around us. Our spiritual journey is one of profound transformation, guided by the divine qualities that God exemplifies. As we study the scriptures and heed the wisdom of thinkers like C.S. Lewis, we gain a deeper understanding of our role in this divine narrative. Let us strive to live in a way that not only reflects God's holiness but also actively combats the shadows of evil in our world. Through prayer, vigilance, and a sincere commitment to embodying Christ's love, we move ever closer to the light of God's eternal truth. To embark on the journey of overcoming destructive habits, it is essential to first confront and identify them. Among these habits is the subtle, yet profound tendency to devalue others, an inclination we might overlook, but which often manifests in our attitudes and actions. If you've ever caught yourself wishing ill upon someone or secretly hoping for their downfall, it's a clear sign that you are reflecting a harmful mindset akin to the destructive behaviors associated with darkness. In Christian teaching, this mirrors the destructive spirit of Satan, who, condemned to eternal separation from God, seeks to drag others down into despair with him. He revels in the misfortune of others, thriving on their suffering as a perverse form of satisfaction. Contrastingly, the Bible offers a powerful antidote to this destructive tendency. Philippians 2 verse 3 presents a profound call to action: do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves. This divine instruction is not merely a suggestion, but a foundational principle for harmonious and respectful relationships. Christ himself exemplified this principle through his life and teachings, emphasizing the importance of mutual respect and humility. By embracing this mindset, we actively reject the selfish inclination to devalue others, instead fostering an environment of genuine respect and love. Additionally, the Bible emphasizes the importance of integrity and honesty in our communication. We are encouraged to renounce deceitful practices, steering clear of manipulation and distortion. In 2 Corinthians 4 verse 2, Paul writes, "We have renounced secret and shameful ways. We do not use deception, nor do we distort the word of God. On the contrary, by setting forth the truth plainly, we commend ourselves to everyone's conscience in the sight of God." This directive urges us to present the truth clearly and sincerely, appealing to others' moral compass and fostering authentic relationships built on trust and transparency. The wisdom of C.S. Lewis complements these biblical teachings, offering an insightful perspective on the transformative power of love. He famously remarked, "Do not waste your time bothering whether you love your neighbor. Act as if you did." As soon as we do this, we find one of the great secrets. When you are behaving as if you loved someone, you will presently come to love him. Lewis's advice reveals a profound truth. Love is not merely a feeling but an action that, when practiced, transforms both the giver and the receiver. By embodying love in our interactions, we combat the inclination to devalue others and instead foster genuine, loving relationships. Imagine a world where every individual chose to act with the humility and respect outlined in Philippians 2 verse 3, where truth was spoken plainly and deceit was cast aside, and where love was consistently put into action, as Lewis advises. Such a world would be a reflection of divine grace and truth, where people uplift each other rather than tear each other down. In this ideal, each person would be seen not as an obstacle or a rival, but as a fellow traveler on the path to a more compassionate and understanding existence. Let us consider the profound impact of gratitude in this context. When we recognize and thank God for his guidance, we acknowledge that it is through his grace that we are enabled to change and grow. In Psalm 107 verse 1, we are reminded to give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, his love endures forever. This gratitude is not just about acknowledging our blessings, but about understanding that through divine assistance, we are given the strength to overcome our negative tendencies and cultivate virtues that honor God and uplift others. In moments of reflection, it becomes clear that to overcome the destructive habit of devaluing others, we must actively choose to embody the principles taught in Scripture and embraced by wise thinkers like C.S. Lewis. By valuing others, communicating with integrity, and acting out of love, we align ourselves with a higher purpose and contribute to a more compassionate world. It is through this journey of transformation, guided by divine wisdom and driven by genuine love, that we find true fulfillment and make a positive impact on those around us. As we endeavor to live out these principles, let us be ever grateful for God's unwavering guidance, which leads us away from destructive paths and towards a life of love, respect, and integrity. In a world often shrouded in confusion and strife, the profound mystery of the gospel can sometimes seem hidden, as though veiled by a dark curtain that blinds the eyes of those who are lost. As the Apostle Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 4, verse 4, "The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers, so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ." This powerful imagery reflects the spiritual struggle that many face, an inner battle where darkness obscures the radiant truth of Christ's love and redemption. This blindness, instigated by the adversary, Satan, creates a barrier that prevents individuals from experiencing the transformative power of the gospel. Even in the midst of such profound obscurity, there is hope and a clear path illuminated by divine guidance. Psalm 34, verse 14 offers a beacon of wisdom: turn from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. These words are not mere suggestions, but a call to action, guiding us to live lives that are distinctly marked by Christ's light rather than the shadows cast by evil. They remind us that our journey involves a conscious choice to steer clear of malevolence, to actively engage in acts of goodness, and to earnestly seek peace in a world rife with discord. Matthew 5, verse 44 brings this guidance to a personal level, urging us to extend our love beyond the confines of comfort and familiarity. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. This commandment is a radical departure from worldly norms, challenging us to embody the love of Christ in even the most difficult relationships. It calls us to transcend our natural inclinations and reflect the grace that God has extended to us. Through such acts, we shine as beacons of Christ's love, illuminating the path for others to follow. It is essential to recognize the nature of our spiritual adversary, whose aim is to lead souls away from God and perpetuate their estrangement from Him. Satan's desire is for eternal separation, and he delights in fostering animosity and division. In this spiritual warfare, we are called to counteract these intentions by embodying the very love and forgiveness that Satan seeks to obscure. The story of Stephen, the first Christian martyr, offers a poignant example of this godly response. As he faced death by stoning, Stephen did not curse his persecutors or harbor hatred in his heart. Instead, he mirrored the grace of Christ, praying, "Lord, do not hold this sin against them." Acts 7, verse 60. Stephen's response was not just a display of personal virtue, but a testament to the profound impact of divine love and forgiveness. His example challenges us to rise above our natural reactions and to respond to hostility with the transformative power of God's grace. C.S. Lewis, in his writings, also captures this essence of divine love and the human response to it. In Mere Christianity, he reflects on the nature of love and forgiveness, noting that to be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable, because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you. Lewis's words resonate deeply with the teachings of Christ, underscoring the importance of mirroring the forgiveness we have received from God. In acknowledging the blindness and the battle that many face, we are also called to be vessels of divine light. As we navigate our lives, we are invited to be instruments of God's guidance, reflecting His love and grace to those around us. Each act of kindness, each moment of forgiveness, and each pursuit of peace becomes a testimony to the transformative power of the gospel, cutting through the darkness and revealing the light of Christ. Let us, therefore, be ever grateful for the divine guidance that has illuminated our paths. In a world where the veil of darkness can be so pervasive, we are blessed to have the light of Christ guiding us, empowering us to live lives that reflect His love and grace. Our gratitude extends not only in words but through our actions, as we strive to embody the teachings of Psalm 34, verse 14 and Matthew 5, verse 44, and as we follow the example of Stephen and the wisdom of C.S. Lewis. In embracing these principles, we not only honor God but become active participants in His redemptive work in the world. By reflecting His light and love, we offer a glimpse of the divine to those who are still shrouded in darkness, and in doing so, we contribute to the unfolding of His kingdom on earth. May we be ever mindful of the grace we have received, and may we, in turn, be instruments of that grace to others, guiding them from the shadows into the glorious light of Christ. In our journey through life, the challenge of resisting evil temptations and maintaining genuine Christian behavior often feels monumental. Yet, it is in these very struggles that our faith and character are profoundly tested and revealed. As we navigate through life's turbulent waters, the teachings of the Bible and the wisdom of great minds like C.S. Lewis offer invaluable guidance and reassurance. One of the most insidious aspects of our daily battles is the temptation to respond to wrongdoing with hostility or revenge. The Apostle Paul, in Romans 12, verse 17 to 21, provides us with a powerful directive: do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. This passage reminds us that vengeance is not ours to claim, but rather it is God's domain. Instead of allowing bitterness to take root and fuel our reactions, we are called to embody peace and kindness, even towards those who seek to harm us. Reflecting on this, it's clear that the strength to resist evil lies in our commitment to love and forgiveness. C.S. Lewis, in his seminal work, Mere Christianity, elucidates this concept by suggesting that genuine love often starts as an act of will. He argues that even if our feelings do not immediately align with our actions, acting out of love can eventually lead to genuine affection. This aligns with Jesus' teachings about loving our neighbors as ourselves. By choosing to act kindly, even when it feels counterintuitive, we begin to transform our own hearts and the hearts of those around us. Our behavior as Christians should therefore be a reflection of sincere love and an unwavering commitment to doing what is right. Galatians 6 verse 1 further emphasizes this by encouraging us to correct those who have erred in a spirit of gentleness, not condemnation, brothers and sisters. If someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted. This approach to correction is a testament to the loving nature of true Christian conduct, seeking to restore rather than to judge. The nature of deception, as C.S. Lewis and the Bible reveal, is another significant aspect to consider. Deception is deeply ingrained in the world's troubles, originating from the father of lies, Satan, who thrives on sowing discord and falsehood. John 8 verse 44 exposes Satan as a deceiver, stating, "When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies." In stark contrast, Jesus declares himself as the embodiment of truth in John 14 verse 6, "I am the way and the truth and the life." This dichotomy highlights the profound difference between living in the light of truth and being ensnared by deception. As followers of Christ, we are called to reflect this divine truth in our own lives. By aligning our actions and words with the truth of God's teachings, we become beacons of light in a world often shadowed by deceit. This reflection of truth not only guides our own paths, but also serves to illuminate the way for others who may be struggling in darkness. In the face of evil, it is essential to remember that we are not alone. The journey of resisting temptation and embodying genuine love is supported by God's unwavering presence and guidance. There are countless testimonies of individuals who have found strength in their faith, overcoming adversity and transforming their lives through the grace and wisdom of God. Each day presents an opportunity to draw closer to this divine guidance, finding solace and strength in His promises. We must also acknowledge our gratitude for God's guidance, which is particularly evident when we reflect on how He has led us through difficult times. Just as a shepherd leads and protects his flock, God's guidance ensures we are not left to navigate life's challenges on our own. The assurance of His presence offers comfort and courage, reminding us that even in the darkest moments, there is a light that cannot be extinguished. Ultimately, our commitment to resisting evil, living out genuine Christian love, and embracing the truth is a testament to our faith. By walking in these principles, we honor the divine wisdom imparted to us and contribute to a world that reflects God's love and truth. Each step we take in this direction is a tribute to the divine guidance that has shaped our lives and the gratitude we hold for the transformative power of God's presence. Let us remain steadfast in our pursuit of righteousness, guided by the wisdom of Scripture and the profound insights of those who have walked before us. As we strive to embody love, resist temptation, and uphold truth, we participate in a greater narrative of divine grace and truth that spans the ages. This journey, while challenging, is deeply rewarding, and it is marked by the ever-peace. On the journey of life, we often encounter moments that challenge our integrity and values. One of the most profound of these challenges is the temptation to deceive, a trait that is deeply opposed to the divine nature we are called to embody. Deception and falsehood, whether employed for personal gain or otherwise, are not merely ethical lapses but are seen as actions aligned with the devil's nature. This aligns with the wisdom of C.S. Lewis, who profoundly understood the subtle dangers of deceit. In his writings, Lewis illustrated that such behavior is fundamentally opposed to the character of God, who embodies truth and righteousness. The Bible offers a clear call for transformation in the face of deceit. Psalm 34, verse 13 to 14 exhorts us to keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Turn from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. This guidance is not merely about moralistic rules, but about aligning our lives with the divine truth that brings peace and fulfillment. When we lie or deceive, we stray from the path of peace and invite a dissonance that affects not only our spiritual health but our relationships with others. The pursuit of honesty and integrity is not just a moral choice but a spiritual necessity that reflects our deepest alignment with the divine. To illustrate the gravity of this issue, let us consider the fall of Satan, a story of profound significance in understanding the nature of sin. According to biblical tradition, Satan's rebellion stemmed from pride, an overwhelming sense of self-importance that led him to defy God. This pride was not merely a personal flaw, but the root of a cosmic conflict. In the Screwtape Letters, C.S. Lewis provides insight into how pride can corrupt the soul and lead one away from divine truth. Pride, in its essence, separates us from God and fosters a sense of self-sufficiency that is fundamentally opposed to divine humility and grace. Pride, as the Bible indicates, is the ultimate sin that precipitated Satan's fall and the ensuing spiritual discord. This sin of pride is not simply about arrogance, but is a rejection of divine authority and truth. It embodies a profound disconnect from the humility and trust that are essential to a relationship with God. When we allow pride to govern our actions, we are stepping into a realm of deceit, where our true nature is obscured, and our relationship with God is jeopardized. God's guidance and grace are available to us, even in the face of our failings. The message of repentance is powerful and transformative. God calls us to renounce deceit and pride, and in doing so, we align ourselves with a higher purpose that transcends the immediate gains of falsehood. By embracing truth and humility, we find not only spiritual redemption but also a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. Reflecting on these lessons, we see that living a life of integrity is a journey toward embracing our true selves as envisioned by God. It is a call to abandon the falsehoods and pride that separate us from divine love and to seek a path of genuine humility and honesty. The teachings of the Bible and the insights from C.S. Lewis remind us that this journey is not always easy, but it is profoundly rewarding. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that our actions, rooted in truth and humility, are a testament to our divine calling and a reflection of the grace that guides us. In expressing our gratitude to God for His guidance, we acknowledge the profound impact of His truth on our lives. It is through His divine wisdom that we find the strength to overcome deceit and pride, and to live lives that honor His presence. We are invited to embrace this truth, to transform our hearts, and to walk in the light of His grace. As we do so, we not only align ourselves with the divine will, but also contribute to a world that reflects the peace and love that God desires for all His creation. The path to spiritual fulfillment and divine alignment is paved with honesty, humility, and a rejection of deceit. By adhering to these principles, we honor the divine nature that calls us to live in truth and peace. Let us carry these lessons forward with gratitude and a renewed commitment to embodying the values that reflect God's love and grace in our lives. The story of Lucifer's fall from grace offers a profound lesson on the perils of pride. Lucifer, once an exalted angel in heaven, was brought low not by his strengths but by his own hubris. His tale is a striking reminder that pride, even in the most exalted beings, leads to a devastating downfall. As Proverbs 16 verse 18 warns, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. This ancient wisdom, echoed in the writings of C.S. Lewis, underscores that pride is not merely a minor flaw but the root of many vices, steering us away from the light of humility and toward darkness. C.S. Lewis, in his profound observations, notes that pride is a distortion of our true selves, making us believe that we are self-sufficient and that our gifts are solely our own. This illusion detaches us from the source of all blessings. Humility, on the other hand, is not about devaluing ourselves, but about recognizing that all we have is a gift from God. The psalmist echoes this sentiment in Psalm 10 verse 4, stating, "In his pride the wicked does not seek Him, in all his thoughts there is no room for God." This humility aligns our hearts with God's grace, acknowledging that our strengths and attributes are bestowed upon us by divine generosity. The destructive power of gossip and division is another critical lesson from Scripture and Christian teaching. Proverbs 6 verse 16 to 19 details behaviors that the Lord despises, including sowing discord among brethren. Such actions are not merely social offenses but spiritual violations, as they undermine the unity God desires for His people. C.S. Lewis, in his keen analysis of human behavior, asserts that divisive actions play into the hands of darkness, strengthening forces that seek to separate us from one another and from God. Instead, we are called to be peacemakers, fostering unity and harmony in our communities, thereby reflecting God's love and light. Understanding the nature of testing God is equally essential. Malachi 3 verse 10 invites us to bring our tithes to the storehouse and see how God will open the floodgates of heaven, promising to bless us abundantly. This passage encourages trust in God's promises rather than challenging His authority or demanding proof of His power. Testing God by seeking signs or miracles as proof of His existence or intentions is akin to tempting Him. Instead, we are called to trust Him fully and faithfully, without imposing conditions or limitations on His divine will. Temptation and doubt often begin with small cracks in our faith, which, if left unchecked, can widen into chasms that draw us away from our trust in God's majesty. C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters illustrates how subtle doubts can insidiously erode our faith. The devil, in Lewis's narrative, often uses minor temptations to gradually lead us astray. It is crucial to resist these doubts and maintain unwavering trust in God's sovereignty. Recognizing His greatness and goodness helps us avoid the pitfalls of skepticism and keeps us aligned with His divine plan. In the tapestry of life, where threads of joy and sorrow interweave, divine guidance serves as the steady hand that weaves our path through both trials and triumphs. The trials we face, whether they stem from pride, discord, rigorous testing, or the allure of temptation, are not merely obstacles but opportunities for profound spiritual growth. These challenges, while formidable, offer us a precious chance to deepen our faith and align more closely with the divine plan laid out for us. The story of Job, whose trials were immense. He faced the devastation of his fortunes, the loss of his children, and the profound physical suffering that might have seemed insurmountable. Yet, in his suffering, Job's unwavering faith illuminated a path for us all. His endurance through profound hardship reflects the essence of divine guidance and assurance that even when circumstances appear bleak, God's wisdom and love guide us toward deeper understanding and growth. Embracing virtues such as humility and unity is essential in reflecting God's love and honoring the gifts He has bestowed upon us. Humility, often seen as a simple or passive virtue, is in reality a profound act of trust in God. It acknowledges our human limitations while embracing divine wisdom. C.S. Lewis, in his reflections, often spoke about the transformative power of humility, noting that humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. In living out this humility, we allow ourselves to be conduits of divine grace, fostering unity and harmony in our interactions with others. The importance of avoiding divisive behavior cannot be overstated. Division sows discord and obscures the light of God's love that we are called to share. Just as Paul's letters to the early Christian community stressed unity and reconciliation, so too are we called to transcend petty differences and build bridges of understanding. This unity is not a mere absence of conflict, but an active pursuit of peace and mutual respect, reflecting God's promise of reconciliation and wholeness. Trusting in God's promises forms the bedrock of our spiritual journey. When we stand firm in our faith, even amid temptations and challenges, we honor the divine assurances that guide and sustain us. The words of Isaiah 41 verse 10, "So do not fear, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand," echo a timeless truth that amidst the storms of life, God's presence remains a source of strength and solace. Gratitude for God's presence is a transformative practice that infuses our lives with deeper meaning and joy. Recognizing and acknowledging His constant companionship fosters a sense of peace and fulfillment. This gratitude is not a passive acknowledgement, but an active response to God's unwavering support. It invites us to live with a heart full of appreciation, recognizing that every breath, every moment of peace, and every act of kindness is a testament to His enduring grace. Learning from the wisdom of past Christian teachings and figures such as C.S. Lewis further equips us to navigate life's complexities. Lewis, through his writings, provided profound insights into the nature of faith, the struggle of temptation, and the essence of divine love. His notion that you can make anything into a god, including your own happiness, serves as a powerful reminder to keep our focus on God rather than on transient worldly pleasures. By integrating these timeless lessons into our lives, we cultivate resilience and grace, enabling us to handle life's trials with a balanced perspective. Striving for unity and humility, as guided by divine teachings, aligns our lives with the divine light and guidance that God offers. This alignment fosters a sense of purpose and direction, leading us to live out our faith in ways that honor both God and our fellow human beings. In a world often marked by discord and division, embodying these virtues becomes a powerful testament to the transformative power of divine love. The journey of life, marked by challenges and opportunities for growth, is illuminated by the steadfast guidance of God. By embracing humility, avoiding divisive behaviors, trusting in divine promises, and drawing on the wisdom of Christian teachings, we align ourselves more closely with the divine light. This alignment fosters unity, gratitude, and resilience, enabling us to reflect God's love and grace in every aspect of our lives. As we walk this path, let us remain ever grateful for the divine guidance that sustains us, and let our lives be a testament to the enduring presence and strength of God.